Peace and light, y'all. I am the Queen Poe, and I am a freeform locker. I'm joking. I don't know why I just did all that, but anyway, I am a freeform locker. I've been freeforming my hair for 4.5 years, and I love it. It's the best hair decision I ever made in my life. Like, this is my second set of freeform locks. This one long lock right here comes from my first set. So I've had clearly 2 sets of freeform locks. In this video, I'm going to talk about my top 5 tips before deciding whether or not you want to lock your hair. And I mean, even if you already decided and you're early in your journey, please pay attention. If you are deciding whether or not you want to lock your hair, please pay attention. So let's jump right in. Number 1. Know the type of locks that you want to have, right? What type of locks do you want to have? For those who want cultivated locks, it's important that you research whether or not you want to interlock, whether or not you want to back comb, whether or not you want to just do the coils. Research the types of locks you want to have, and also research what the meaning and the history is behind that form of locks. Believe it or not, every form of locks has a meaning behind it, and it's important and valuable not for other people but really for yourself to know the history behind the decision that you're making, right? So study, really research the type of locks you want to have. If you are choosing to be a freeformer, the decision is not that hard to make. People freeform for many reasons. I'll just speak for myself. It is, and I always say, a revolutionary beauty. Freeform locks is something I always knew I wanted to do since I was a little girl, so it was a very easy decision for me to make, and a good decision because it is the most low maintenance form of locks that you can have. My aunt has sister locks, and you know, they're beautiful. I love them, but it's some work that goes into sister locks, okay? She has to get them done often, and a lot of separating, all kind of stuff. With freeforming, you don't have to do that. You just let your hair go and grow and be free. From bald till now, 4.5 years, and I am here. So, number 1, know the types of locks that you want to have. Number 2, be very mindful, listen close, be very mindful of the type of shampoo you use to wash your locks, okay? Really study, research, and be clear about what type of shampoo you're putting on your locks. Why do I say that? Because a lot of shampoos and locks do not work well together. They don't, okay? Locks are like a sponge, so they absorb everything, and it's hard to really rinse them and get a good rinse. Some shampoos are difficult to rinse out for the amount of oils and parabens. There's so many other things that they put in the shampoo. It can be very difficult to rinse out of your locks, which can then cause flaking. Also, some shampoos are a little bit too drying for the locks. Your locks and your scalp really will feel like Brillo, okay? Now, I'm not going to do shampoos I don't really recommend. I'll just throw some hints out there. You know, shampoos that ain't for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, shampoos that, you know, ain't made for melanated people. That might not be what you want to use, and I'll speak from my personal experience. I used a specific shampoo that I did not get out of the ethnic section, and my locks were so flaky. It was so hard for me to wash the shampoo out. It wasn't funny. I had to do an apple cider vinegar rinse afterwards. So really choose your shampoos. Shampoos that I recommend: Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, hands down. I'm very natural, so I prefer to do herb rinses, things like that. All natural, the more natural, the better. But if it's like you don't want to do the herb rinse, you don't want to do the apple cider vinegar rinse and stuff like that, Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, I love it. I use the baby formula, so it's extra pure. I've also used baby shampoo in the past. You know, I love a little Johnson Johnson, and that works well and doesn't leave any residue for me. I don't know about what it'll do for you, but for me, it worked really well. So be mindful about the type of shampoo you use, because you don't want flakes, you don't want residue, and you don't want your scalp and your hair to be extremely dry, okay? That's tip number 2. Tip number 3. Allow your hair to dry all the way after washing it. Do not cover them up. Do not wrap your locks. Do not do anything. Just leave it down and let it dry fully before you wrap it, before you style it or anything. I often see, especially for people who have cultivated locks, I see that they'll get their hair done, and sometimes like the stylist will do the retwist and then wrap them while they're still wet. And what can happen is if you wrap up wet locks, it's difficult for them to dry, and when you take that hairstyle down, your hair will smell like mildew or mold, and you don't want that to happen, right? Because that's what's going to happen. Your locks will mildew. Like I said, it's like a sponge. It holds the water. Your locks can mildew, and it will cause odor. It will cause a white buildup, and I'm speaking from experience. So from my first set of locks, I saved this one lock, right? I love this lock, and I saved it. So I had a bald head and I had one lock. I'll show some pictures. Or you can look back at my 4-year journey and you can see when that was happening. But bald head, one lock, saved it. For some reason when I had my full first set of locks, I had the Congo locks, they would stand up on my head. So I didn't have to like wear a shower cap or anything or worry about them getting wet in the shower because they would stand up. But as this baby grew longer and longer and longer, it started to hang down. Guess what? I'm in the shower every day. This lock is getting wet every single day. It's not being allowed to fully dry, and it started to mildew. How did I know it started mildewing? Because my sister's ex-husband, we still cool, my sister's ex-husband, he came to give me a hug. He was like, "What's up, sis?" I had just came in, I hadn't seen him in a while. He's like, "What's up, sis?" He goes to give me a hug. He was like, "You smelling a little strong on the left side." And I'm like, "I know I put on deodorant, what you mean?" And he was like, "Nah, it's a little strong over there." So me and him always joke back and forth. I'm thinking he's playing. No. Like, he said it again the next day, like, "Yo, no, for real, check that left side, sis. Like, it's a little, you know." And then my sister was like, "Yeah, it's time. I went to tell you, like, it sounded a little funny smelling on that side." Y'all, it was my lock. My lock smelled so freaking bad. Like, I lifted it up. At this time, it wasn't this long at all. It was like right here. So it's not like it's around me all the time. So I pulled it to the front and lifted up and smelled it, and it smelled so bad. It's not even funny. Like, I'm embarrassed. It really smelled like an old rag, like an old irritated rag. That's how my lock smelled. But why? Because of mildew. It started to mildew. So what did I have to do? I had to do an apple cider vinegar rinse to cure that. And I'm talking about, I literally had to just soak my lock in apple cider vinegar, water, baking soda, and lemon. I put some in a cup, made a solution, and I just soaked my lock in it. And I kept wringing it and soaking it, wringing it and soaking it. And the apple cider vinegar kills it. You can research that. But yeah, that's my story on how I learned how to allow locks to dry fully, because I did not know that locks would mildew. I wasn't thinking about it, but I learned firsthand. Please do not learn that way, because it took a lot for me to restore and repair this lock, and the reason I'm still holding on to it right now. Okay, so just be very mindful about that. So know the type of locks you want to have. Be mindful of the type of shampoo that you choose. Allow your locks to dry fully. And number 4, please, please, please understand that it is important for you to love and enjoy every phase of your locks. Do not allow people to convince you of this thing called the ugly stage. There is no ugly stage. You are beautiful at every stage and phase of locking, okay? Trust me, I started from bald. I went through every single phase, okay? Bald as a freeformer too. And I'm talking about where people coming up to me like, "Girl, what you doing, girl? Sis, you okay? Like, what's going on, sis?" You know, friends and family want to touch my hair. Like, is it a fro? Is it a, like, did you try to coil it? Like, you know. And I just had to be like, "No, I'm freeforming and this is what it is." And at the time, you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I was better than bad. I thought I was like sexy, and I'm like, yes, you know. I said like this like I had hair. No, I had like a little fro and it was busted. Looking back at pictures, I'm like, oh, you couldn't tell me nothing at that time. No, I thought it was fire. And that's how you gotta feel. You gotta have that level of confidence, because people are gonna question you so often. You just gotta know, like, look, I'm at stage 4 or stage 1 or stage 2 or whatever phase I'm in of this journey, and I look good, okay? No matter what. From 0 to present, I look good at every phase, and you can't tell me nothing. Now, you may go back and look at pictures from that stage and be like, I was tripping a little bit. But in the midst of that phase, know that you are bad, you are gorgeous, you are sexy, you look good, okay? Don't let nobody tell you any different. Love yourself at every phase of your lock journey. And tip number 5, last but definitely not least, ignore the haters, okay? There will be people who hate on your lock journey. There's gonna be people who have negative things to say, all kind of stereotypes. How would you get a job? How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna do that? Ignore the haters. Let them hate from the sideline, okay? Let them hate. They're gonna say what they want to say. They're gonna be mad, but their anger, their burdens, how they feel is not your job to heal, okay? Please remember that. Love yourself in every phase and ignore what the haters got to say. They want to ask questions. Answer the questions politely if you so choose. If not, ignore them. They hating. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to start locks anyway, okay? Because they really deep down inside want to do it. 9 times out of 10, if somebody's hating on you, it's really because they want to do what you're doing, but I ain't going to touch on that. You know what I'm saying? Just let them keep admiring. Let them keep hating and ignore everything they have to say. So, know the types of locks you want to have. Research them. Do your history. Do your studies. Be mindful of the type of shampoo you use. Allow your locks to dry all the way before doing any hairstyle, wrapping them, or anything. Let your locks dry so you can avoid that mildew and being funky on that left side, okay? Number 4, love yourself at every single phase, no matter what. Number 5, ignore your haters, all right? Peace and light, y'all. Stay light, stay love. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram at the Queen Poe, or you can leave it in the comments below and I'll talk to you, okay? Peace and light, y'all.